Hi everyone and welcome to my channel. If you're new to this channel, I'm Øystein and I'm trying to become a bookworm. And in today's video we are going to look at my to be read pile. This is my first to be read type of video, so bear with me. I've seen many to be read piles through the years and I'm going to do this plain and simply, just walk through the books I'm planning to read this September, and at the end of the month we'll see how well I did. At least if I read the books I actually thought I would read. That's the goal. Or the goal is actually enjoying the reading. But it is fun to make a list of which books you're going to read for a month. So I'm currently reading this book. It's Shirley Jackson's We Have Always Lived in the Castle. And since I've never read a lot of scary books, I'm sort of preparing for Halloween, so this is my current read. I've not read too much of this book yet. One frustration is that I thought it was a very short book, but the font size is very small compared to what I thought, so it takes some time. So far I'm really enjoying the book. It's a very atmospheric book and kind of creepy, and it gets more and more creepy. So that's fun. I recently made a video about the Booker Prize longlist that you can find here or there. And in that spirit, I decided to read two of the books that were longlisted for the Booker Prize in 2021. The first one was this book, A Town Called Solace by Mary Lawson. And I think I'm going to make a review of this later, but that was the first Booker Prize book for this year I decided to read. And for September, I'm planning on reading this book, No One Is Talking About This by Patricia Lockwood. Some of the reasons why I decided to read this book is: one, it's nominated for the Booker Prize and longlisted, but it's also shortlisted for the Women's Prize for Fiction in 2021. I struggled to find what it's really about, but it seems to be about a woman who becomes a social media superstar and where the social media takes over her life in some way, and that sounded interesting. And it seems to be a book that gets you thinking a lot. I don't think this will be an easy digestible book, but it's a cool plot. And many people love this book. Reading Patricia Lockwood feels like looking through a kaleidoscope built by a mischievous sorcerer. The world is suddenly rearranged in fragments that are cosmic, wondrous, humiliating, and profane. No One Is Talking About This is a furiously original novel, alive and understandable. So, you use all those words, who makes this book seems like a very intelligent and difficult book, but then you also say alive and understandable. I have good faith in this book, but I'm also very eager to start reading it and see if I understand it. Next book I got in the mail today and was very happy. This is one of the favorite books of one of my friends. I asked if this friend would lead me into the horror genre and give me one book recommendations to get into the genre, and that's this book, Heart-Shaped Box by Joe Hill. So Joe Hill is the son of Stephen King, and this is his first novel. It came out in 2007. Heart-Shaped Box is of course a Nirvana song, and all the parts of the book is supposed to be other titles of songs. I don't know if that's a plus yet. We'll just have to read and see what the book says. But I'm a huge music geek and it could go very both ways. When Judas Coyne heard someone was selling a ghost on the internet, there was no question. It was perfect for his collection of the macabre. Macabre? How do you pronounce that in English? The Cannibal's Cookbook, The Witch Confession, the authentic snuff movie. As an aging death metal rock god, buying a poltergeist almost qualifies as a business expense. I have quite a prejudice against ghosts. I'm hoping this book will be my salvation, my horror salvation. I do not like horror movies that much, but if I could make up creepy images in my head, maybe we'll get somewhere. And of course, this book also decides if me and my friend are still friends after I've read it. So he has put a lot on the line for this book. The next book is actually a book that I've been wanting to read for a long time. The reason why I haven't read it before is that I wanted to read it in Norwegian, but it has been kinda hard to find. It's Aldous Huxley with Brave New World. And in Norwegian it says Fagre nye verden, which means something like beautiful new world or fair new world. It's a very bad translation. I have no idea why they did this. Maybe it's explained in the book, I don't know. One of the reasons why I wanted to read this book is that many years ago I read George Orwell's 1984, and I liked that book, and many people suggested that I should read this book as well. And so we'll see how similar they are. It's said to be quite dystopian, and that's really something I imagine I could like reading about, more dystopian books. But I haven't tried a lot, so we'll see about that. Largely set in a futuristic world state, whose citizens are environmentally engineered into an intelligence-based social hierarchy. The novel anticipates huge scientific advancements in reproductive technology, sleep learning, psychological manipulation, and classical conditioning that are combined to make a dystopian society which is challenged by only a single individual, the story's protagonist. And that sure sounds like a good novel. Released in 1932 and still talked about today, so it has to have something. And the book was also banned a lot of times through the years, and that for me makes it very intriguing to read. I found one favorite ban on the internet in 1932, so the year it was released. The book was banned in Ireland for its language and for supposedly being anti-family and anti-religion. I found that quite amusing, to be anti-family. I get a lot of thoughts in my head. I'm very eager to see if I think after reading this book that it's anti-family. As it stands now, none of these books will bring me joy. Not in the humorous sense, I think. And that's why the next novel on my list is Anansi Boys by Neil Gaiman. This is the book I hope will give me something to laugh about from the bunch. Cut out all of the seriousness of the other books. I sort of struggle to find books I want to read in the humor genre. Many of the books seems very, very silly, and they might be funny, but I haven't yet found out what humorous books I might want to read. So I'll try this one in September, I'm quite sure. And I think what got me was the tagline, God is dead, meet the kids. I thought that was quite amusing. This came out in 2005, and the funny thing about this is that two of the books I've shown you recently actually have Neil Gaiman on the front cover. The first one is Shirley Jackson book, and there we have Neil Gaiman on the top. An amazing writer, he says. And this I found out today, so this is something I just saw. And on heart-shaped box, Neil Gaiman has also uttered his thoughts. And let's see, on the back here, I loved it unreservedly, Neil Gaiman. So I'm starting to think that Neil Gaiman also reads a lot of books, not only publishes many of them. So this book is about Charlie that realized that after his father died doing karaoke, that his father actually was a god. And not only that, but he also has a brother. These two things are making his life a lot more dangerous and a lot more complicated. I'm really looking forward to reading this book. I think this could be very me, but I don't know yet. So there's only one way to figure it out. It has a very large font size, which makes me very happy. If I'm lucky enough to get the time to read through all of these books, I'm also planning to read one of the books which becomes shortlisted for the Booker Prize in 2021. It happens 16th of September. I'll be ready to watch the books that are being shortlisted, and I hope that the two books that I've read or going to read from the long list are going to be shortlisted, so I can feel very upfront. We'll just have to wait to see, but that's the plan. If I get the time, I'll also read one of these books. And I'll be interested to see in making this list, will it get me more motivated to read these books and not choose anything other? I'm not that sure. Do you have any strong opinions about this content? Please comment below. If you liked or disliked the video, please give me a thumb. And follow my channel. it will make me more happy than you think. Which is kinda sad, but you get the point. See you in the next one.